AI is not going to make you rich. Not the tools, not the agents, not the prompts, none of it. Whether you've already made some money with AI or you haven't seen a single dollar yet, this is the foundational truth you really have to grasp. AI is just a tool. It's literally like a database or, I don't know, an internet connection. By themselves, tools just do not generate wealth. It's entirely about how you apply them.
To see how this really works, we're going to open up a metaphorical carpenter's toolbox. Today, we are covering the AI wealth illusion, the hammer, the screwdriver, the power drill, and finally, how to become the orchestrator.
Okay, Section 1, the AI wealth illusion and why selling the tool is a losing game.
We really need to start by shifting our mindset completely away from the hype of the tools themselves. Selling AI is exactly like a carpenter trying to get rich by just selling a hammer. A hammer doesn't command a high price tag, right? The carpenter who actually builds wealth doesn't sell tools at all. They use their full toolkit to solve real, painful problems for people, like fixing a massive leak in a roof. The exact same rule applies to AI. You don't just need a shiny new tool. You need a toolkit that you actually know how to activate and apply to real-world issues.
Moving on to Section 2, the hammer, mastering large language models.
So this first tool is the absolute foundational piece of your toolkit. It represents the most basic universal AI tools out there. Think ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. But here's the catch. It's only effective if you actually know how to swing it. They are incredible at driving a metaphorical nail into a piece of wood, but they absolutely require manual input. They need your brain and your fingertips to guide them into doing something useful. The big problem is, well, amateurs swing this hammer wildly. They treat LLMs like a fancy Google search, right? They type in a basic question, copy the answer, and move on. And because of that, they create way more holes than they fix. It just wastes resources and spits out low-quality garbage.
Now, to swing this hammer like an absolute pro, you need a framework, the MAPS framework. Let's break it down really quickly. M is for mission. Always start with the big picture outcome, not just the isolated task. A is for ask. This is the highly specific task you need performed. Just one clear request. P is for parameters. This is your context, like what's worked before. Who exactly is your ideal customer? And actually, a quick pro tip from our source here, use voice dictation for this part so you can just rapidly brain dump all that context. It saves so much time. Finally, S is for shape. Tell the AI exactly what format you want that output in. Are we talking a CSV file, a bulleted list? Should the tone be conversational or super formal?
The crucial takeaway here is that LLMs absolutely love to solve problems, but only when you give them highly specific instructions. Just compare a really bad generic prompt like "find me leads" to a powerful maps-based prompt. Give me 40 qualified leads with emails and cell numbers to hit my 30 customer target. You see the difference there? You've given it the specific shape, the very clear ask, and the overarching mission. That right there is how you swing the hammer correctly.
All right, Section 3, the screwdriver, AI automation workflows.
Because let's be real, not every single problem is a nail. And that brings us to the next highly specialized tool in your belt. The screwdriver represents automation platforms. We're talking Zapier, Make.com, N8N. Just like driving a screw to permanently hold pieces of wood together, automations give you massive, massive leverage. Instead of manually prompting an AI every single time you need something done, you build a workflow on a schedule. You literally set it and forget it. Our source material gives an awesome example of this. Imagine getting an automated Slack report every single Friday that analyzes every sales call across all your companies. It just runs like clockwork, totally in the background.
But hold on, before you pull out the screwdriver, you gotta be careful. You need to run your task through what's called the rule of R to make sure it's actually worth your time to automate. First up, is it repetitive? Like, are you doing this daily or weekly? Second, is it rule-based? Does it use the exact same inputs and outputs every single time? And third, and this is huge, does it generate a return? Look, you definitely don't want to waste 60 hours building some intricate, complex automation for a task that only takes you 2 minutes a week to do manually. Make sense? If you hit all 3 R's, then yep, it's time to use the screwdriver.
Which brings us to Section 4, the power drill, agentic AI systems.
Let's move on to the heavy machinery. The shift in how you work here is absolutely massive. With the hammer, you swing it. With the screwdriver, you turn it. But with the power drill, these are agentic AI systems like Apex or Perplexity. You just point it, pull the trigger, and let the machine completely take over. You simply provide the outcome. For example, you could literally tell a system like Agent Forge to research the future of AI, build a product website, create and run the ad campaigns, source the leads, and coordinate recruiting a whole team to build the company. It goes end to end. You don't even need to know how it did it, you just care that it delivered the outcome.
But to use the power drill properly, your role has to transition, and this is where things get truly fascinating. We used to always talk about having a human in the loop, where you're in the weeds, constantly pushing tasks forward, manually moving data from one automation to the next. But with agentic AI, you become a human on the loop. The AI agent does the entire workflow, and you are simply there at the end to inspect the expected output. Honestly, think of it exactly like managing a human employee. You just check in to ensure the project is on track and to prevent something called context rot, which is where the AI's brain essentially starts losing the thread during a really long-running task.
So, if you want to master this power drill, here are the absolute best practices. First off, pick a full, challenging end-to-end workflow. Second, use that MAPS framework we discussed earlier to make sure you prompt the agent properly from the start. Third, and I love this one, it's such a brilliant advanced move, dare the agent to review its own work before you ever step in to fix it. Literally just tell it, I trust you, do better, and watch it correct its own mistakes. Finally, you can even set up highly specialized agents whose only job is to review and critique the work of your other agents. Picture having one agent writing all your code and a totally separate specialized agent autonomously reviewing that code and firing back a list of corrections. Incredible, right? To perfectly recap how your relationship with these tools evolves, you start out by manually swinging the LLM hammer for brainstorming and drafting. Then, you graduate up to setting and forgetting the automation screwdriver to handle those repetitive tasks. And ultimately, you level up to simply triggering and monitoring the agentic power drill to execute entire, massive workflows.
All right, our final section, number 5, the Orchestrator. Selling solutions, not tools.
Because listen, just owning this toolkit does not make you rich. Becoming the master orchestrator, that does. Let's just look at the simple math behind this mindset shift. A literal hammer at your local hardware store costs what, about 15 bucks? But if you have a massive leak pouring rainwater into your living room, you would gladly pay a professional carpenter $5,000 to come in, use his tools, and completely fix your roof without you ever having to lift a single finger. The real money isn't in the $15 tool. The money is in the $5,000 solution.
And that brilliantly illustrates our final big takeaway today. The customer doesn't care. They just want their roof fixed. You've got to stop trying to sell the AI itself to your clients. Nobody asks their plumber what specific brand of wrench they're using under the sink. If you have found an AI-powered way to solve a painful problem cheaper, faster, or better than the old traditional way, just deliver the result. Charge the standard $5,000 value for the solution, deliver it incredibly fast using your new AI toolkit, and simply keep the difference.
The ultimate takeaway from this whole explainer is a very necessary shift in your daily reality. You really need to stop chasing every shiny new trend. Stop trying to just forcefully jam AI into everything just for the sake of saying you use AI. Instead, you've got to stop doing the manual labor yourself and start acting like a director. You are now the orchestrator who seamlessly coordinates all these powerful tools to serve your clients and build massive value.
So, as we wrap things up here, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. As you look at your own business and your own daily workflows right now, ask yourself, are you just excitedly collecting new hammers and screwdrivers? Or are you finally ready to step back and orchestrate a real high-value solution? Problems are what make money. Find a big one, grab your toolkit, and get to work fixing it.